Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Science will tell you that everything is energy. It vibrates, has a frequency. It's alive. It cannot be destroyed, simply transformed from form to form. But what does that mean for you? What it means is your thoughts, you and your thoughts, are energy, vibrating frequency. Your thoughts are alive. Your thoughts cannot be destroyed. They simply transform from form to form. Good morning, my name is Diane Wargalla, and I am the author of Living Supernatural in the Natural World. Never underestimate your ability. What this means for you is you are far more powerful than what you've ever been led to believe. And hopefully today, after our meeting together, you will start to have a glimpse into a world of how powerful you truly are. It starts in the thought. My intention in our time here together this morning is that I hope to expand on your understanding of what it truly means to think in relation to the world around you, and how you can live a much larger world, a much larger connection with the world around you, and how you are the creator of this. A few years ago, a few days before my birthday, I received a thought that came as an intention, and I heard the words that clearly said, "Whistler is calling. You have to go to Whistler." Now, I had never been to Whistler before, nor did I have any intention of going. But later that night, my partner called me, and he said, "You know what, hon? I messed up my schedule. I know your birthday's in a few days. I know I also have a board of directors meeting to go to, but I just realized that my meeting is actually on your birthday, and I have to be in Vancouver for it." So he proposed that as a birthday gift to me that I join him, and so I did. So when we arrived, we went to rent a car, and we discovered that cruise ships had come in, and there were no rental cars to be had. The next day, the day of my birthday and his meeting, he asked me, "What are you going to do today?" And I said, "Whistler's still calling. I'm going to rent a car, and I'm going to Whistler." With he knowing how difficult it was that there was none available, he laughed and said, "Good luck with that." And I said, "Thanks." And out the hotel I went, around the corner and into a car rental agency, where I met a lovely man behind the counter who said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, you can. You can rent me a car. It's my birthday and Whistler's calling." So he started chuckling and he said, "Happy birthday. How much did you want to spend on this car?" I said, $77. It was like, yeah, right. He took my driver's license. He went in the back room as he was saying, "Let me see what I can do." A few minutes later, he came back with some paperwork and he said, "Sign here." I was like, "You found a car?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How much?" He said, $77. I was like, "What?" I said, "What kind of car am I getting for $77? He said, "Trust me, you'll like it. I'll even put the roof down for you." He said, "Meet me around the side of the car, meet me around the side of the carport." And there it was. He drove up in a brand new Mustang convertible. As he drove, can you imagine yourself behind the car of your dreams? It's like, holy crap, this is mine for the day for $77? Yes. So off I went, roof down, wind in my hair, knowing where I was going, but not knowing why, and all day to get there. So off I went to Whistler. When I arrived at Whistler, I still had no idea why I was there or even what I was supposed to do, so I did what I like to do. I went shopping. As I was standing there purchasing a book, a thought came in my mind, and it said, "Go to the base of Whistler Mountain." So off I went, heading in that direction. The thought in my mind came back, and it said, "Walk faster." So I was like, okay. So off I went, I'm going a little faster, and then I hear, "Faster!" So I'm going faster. And I hear, "Run!" So now I'm going full out towards Whistler Mountain, still having no idea where I'm headed, why I'm going there, and I see a ticket booth. And the ticket booth, I hear in my head, yes, yes, the gondola, get a ticket, hurry. As I purchased the ticket in my hand, the teller behind the counter put a sign in front of me that said closed for the day.
What?
And they pointed for me to go around the side of the building into the platform. Now standing at the platform, I'm looking around, and there's 3 strangers standing at the far end. And as they noticed me, they said, "Excuse me, are you alone?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Come join us." And so I did. We shared a gondola ride to and from mountain peak to peak mountain. And they were the reason I was supposed to go to Whistler. As it turned out, their friend, Cooper, they had come together to support their friend Cooper that only days earlier had been in a single vehicle car accident and had been in a coma ever since. Just minutes before while they were having lunch and they were about to step on the gondola, they received the phone call from Cooper's daughter to say that Cooper had just passed. They were distraught. They had questions that were flying through their mind. They felt he had gone too early. They thought that things were unfair. And as I had the gondola ride with these 3 strangers, Cooper visited. And he was able to give them all the answers and support. And I was able to be his translator. And not once did I ever tell these people who I was or what I do. Not once. I knew that they received his message by their replies, such as, "Funny you should say that. Cooper used to say that all the time. God, I feel like he's right here with us." And it was because he was. He was right there with them. This is how powerful you are when you raise your vibration, come into your own, live in the world where you are completely in the knowing and able to be there for each other. When you have a need, that you know that there's going to be people coming from Vancouver, from Ontario to Vancouver to reach a need because the energy synergies come together. You see, this was not an intellectual meeting of the minds and the needs of which a call was sent out. This was a vibrational need of which was answered. And as a child, I learned and I committed myself that whenever I received anything on a vibrational level of a calling, I'm showing up to the game. History. Who here likes history? All right. Well, you're going to love this. A few years ago, I received a call from my friend Bob McConkey, who told me that his great uncle, Captain Ed McConkey, had his pocket watch and diary, personal diary, on display at an exhibit at the Goderich Museum, where they had an exhibit for the Great Storm of 1913. The purpose of us going there was to see if I could connect in with Captain McConkey, because ever since 1913, historians and family members had always wondered what took place out on Lake Huron during that storm. Questions such as, why did crew members from another vessel show up on shore, get washed ashore, wearing the life vests from his ship? What the heck happened out there? How did they happen? Questions like, why did he put his anchor down that day? Surely an instant way that could easily capsize his boat. Not only was I able to speak with Captain McConkey and answer those and more than those answers, giving historians a lot to work with in order to literally piece together the puzzles of which they were able to then validate actually took place. But the captain shared stories such as, did you know that there are pirates on the Great Lakes? I had no idea. I thought that was part of, the Caribbean. So he shared stories of pirates, whiskey, and gold during the biggest storm ever to be recorded in history on the Great Lakes, even to this very day. When I asked him how his ship actually sunk, the conversation went to a whole new level. He told me that they had lost their rudder and that they had taken the final wave on the starboard side. When I told him that I did not know what this was, I didn't know what he meant. What he told me was, actually happened was, I suddenly found myself transported back to the year 1913. And in my mind, I experienced them losing the rudder, which put them completely out of control. And then the final wave came on the far right-hand side. This experience was more real to me than me standing here on this stage at this very moment. That's how powerful, when science says that energy cannot be destroyed, it simply changes from form to form. This is one of the small little things that we are capable of doing. You have the capability of not only learning about history and putting the puzzles of history together through the books of our libraries and online, you have the ability to literally go into that vibration and see it through the eyes of the people who literally lived it. Anybody like that idea? What about your own personal history? What about the first time you saw your child being born, your first kiss, your first true love? The first time your puppy came and your animal, your pet, your part of your family came to you. All these memories are still alive in the frequencies of the universe, and they're totally accessible. This is Captain McConkey's family. These are his brothers. My friend Bob McConkey is his great-grandfather on the bottom left, and the top right is Captain Ed McConkey, the gentleman that shared his story with me that day. I learned as a young child that those daydreaming days, it was on every report card every year, if Diane would only pay attention to what's going on in the room. They have served me well, my daydreaming years. When I learned how to, at the age of 10, when I learned for the first time how to play hide and seek, I thought the game was about simply fine-tuning, tuning in on my friends' energies. And then I thought the game was about going to where they were hiding and then saying, I see you, like I got it. And then I thought the game was about running back to home base to see who was safe. So I thought the game was about running as well. But the first time that one of the kids just walked away from home base and said 1, 2, 3 on his brother that he saw running between the houses, I thought, I don't have to run. All I have to do is call it, and then that person's it, and I don't have to be it anymore. It wasn't until I made the wrong call. I thought Tommy hadn't been it for a while. So I said 1, 2, 3 on Tommy behind the Joneses' house amongst the garbage cans. Between the garbage cans, they all went, what? You can't do that. And I'm yelling, yeah, Tommy, come on out. I can see you between the garbage cans. I know you're there. And when Tommy came out, he said, that's where I was. How did you know that? And I said, well, we all know that. That's how I discovered that you weren't quite living in the same frequency that I was, but I know you're capable of. So as time went on, I started playing with this energy to find out exactly what can we do, because things would happen by chance, as they always do. But there's quite a bit difference between living your world in a vibrational environment by chance, or living it by definition, living it rather than default, living it by designing it. Mother's Day is tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, including the ones that have pets. Those are family too. Happy Mother's Day. A few years ago on Mother's Day, one of my sons gave me a wind chimes, of which I hung outside. And when we were going out for dinner and we had reservations, and my other son was running a bit late. So when he arrived, I wanted him to see and hear the wind chimes, of which he said, Mom, we don't have chime right now. And I said, okay, never mind then, because he had to go through the house and out in the backyard. I said, never mind then, just wait. He's like, what am I waiting for? I said, hang on, wait for it. And the chimes that I had just hung up in the back tree that had not rung because there had been no breeze suddenly started ringing and chiming. And he looked at me and he goes, what the? And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Isn't this cool? Let's do it. That is simply energy vibration of which you are connected with. Just over a decade ago, I started giving one-on-one coaching and encouragement and giving readings and connecting in. And as that grew and grew over the years, I saw that other people started wondering as well, what's going on? Do you know that this little phrase has hit over, there's been over 6 billion, not M, with a B, 6 billion people have Googled these few words. If I think it, will it come? Somebody's wondering, somebody's noticing. You ever notice it when, try it yourself. If you haven't noticed, try this. Think about someone, or if you received the message, you've received that vibration, thinking of someone, call them. Start asking each other. Start with, I was just thinking about you. You'd be surprised how many times the person will respond with, I was just thinking of you too. You're connecting energies. Elaborate on it. Be there for each other. You are my brothers and sisters. We are children of the universe. We are. Thank you for agreeing with me. I lived most of my life afraid of you, afraid that I was too different. And you're not. You're my brothers and sisters, and I would like to help you raise your vibration in order so that you can start living and being who we are, and so that I can stop being afraid of you, and we can stop calling each other out for things that are untrue, because we are brothers and sisters. And because I feel that starting with your intuition, starting with your intuitive self, and discovering who you are, and starting getting an understanding and a feel for who you are, and I run through a few exercises so that you can start recognizing your own self and your own energy, because it all starts with the inner self, the inner core. Because once you start raising your vibration, it no longer becomes about you in the current previous you. It starts to become about you coming into balance with you, your health, your mental capacity, your relationship with not only yourself, but your world around you. And as your vibration comes, it no longer becomes simply about you. It becomes about you in relation to the world around you, and living in a much grander world, and start seeing things in a much grander way. It's like supercharging your life. The book is simply an illustration of stories, compiled stories of my life, as to what it can look like for you. Because after all, who would know that you have the capability of making wind chimes ring at a distance? It's like, what's up with that? There are so many things. I've lived this way my entire life. I could fill not only a library, but several libraries with messages of how powerful you are.